Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited to have you all here, and this is going to be a very cool little video. All right. So, how to create your income system, right? I have this process. I mean, I'm even thinking kind of putting it into like a book or something, but step one is always going to be kind of conquer yourself, which is a lot more work than anything else. I always recommend you work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and you'll be able to create a fortune. But this is the next step. This is to create a income system. This is to create a business. This is to create something that can actually set you financially free. Okay. And this is a quote from one of my mentors, and it's kind of interesting. So he says, "What is the purpose of a business, right? What's the purpose of starting a business?" And people can come up with all kinds of different ideas. I want to spread a message, or I want to share my thoughts, or I want to employ people. Okay. But a lot of the reality is the purpose of a business is to support the lifestyle of the brave entrepreneur who started the business and the team that helps them build it. Okay. And I know that's kind of different than what most people will teach, but I think that's true because we all start a business so that we can live a good lifestyle, right? We don't really start a business very often. If you do have a philanthropic, that's a nonprofit, right? And that's a different kind of thing. If you're just really bored and you're starting a business, I don't know if that's the best way. And if you have a passion project or you're an artist, that's not really a business. That's just something that you can do that makes money, right? We're going to be talking about how to build a real business. And if you want to be a real business owner, which I recommend everybody should be, because the way the country's going, the way the world's going, you need complete control over your income. Otherwise, you never know what's going to happen, right? So how can we create a business that will lead to financial freedom, right? That's the big deal. A lot of people will start their own business and they're basically just building themselves a job, right? I'm a good person who's done this a lot. I've built over 20 different businesses and a lot of them failed. I've also had some multi-million-dollar successes, right? So I'm not just pulling this out of nowhere. This is from experience. And a lot of those businesses were fun, but they did not create financial freedom. They created a job that I was attached to, that I was stuck in. Even though it was my business and I was paying everybody, there were a lot of times where I'd be paying my employees my last dollar and I wouldn't be even make any money and I'd be working 12 to 18 hours a day. So you want to create a business that'll actually create financial freedom. Okay. So in order to do this, you must create a systematized business. The business has to be consistent, has to be repeatable, has to be optimized, has to be automated, and then you have to be able to delegate it, right? Automation and delegation is the biggest thing. But you want to create a system. And this goes back to all sorts of things. And when I say business and when I say system, like it doesn't have to be that complicated. Okay. But this is the main idea. If you can make $1 doing some sort of work, you can make $10. And if you can make $10, you can make $1,000,000. Now, I know that's a big jump, but that's the truth. If you can make $1, then you can create a system and you can replicate it to make millions of dollars, right? And that's kind of why you guys need to understand this process and why we need to have this in the back of our mind so that you guys aren't creating a business that doesn't create financial freedom. And also so that you guys can see why, if you have a job, why they pay you, right? So you can start to create your own system, your own vision, right? So this is the idea. This is a system. All right. And most businesses have this exact same system. And you have to have all these different things in place in order for it to really make a lot of money. And instead of just thinking it of as like, I'm just going to start this business and I'm just going to throw spaghetti at the wall, I want you to really think about, okay, if this is what my business is going to be, these are the things that I need to have in the business. These are going to be steps that the brand is going to take. This is going to be steps that the marketing is going to do. This is what the salespeople are going to do. This is what the fulfillment's going to do. This is what the other money on the back end is going to do. This is what the human resources are going to do. And this is what the finance and legal department is going to do. And sometimes you can think this is a lot or you can get overwhelmed, but I'm not here to tell you that starting a business isn't a lot and that it's not overwhelming, because it is. And that's just how it is. But once you have all this set up, these can run on autopilot. These can make you a millionaire. These can set you financially free once you have them dialed in and once you have them put together. So instead of thinking, I'm just going to start a business tonight. No, I want you to create a system that the outcome is you sell products online and make money, right? It's not about, I'm going to go mow a bunch of lawns and make money. You want to create a system where people come to you to get their lawn mowed, and then you have other people do the work, right? So that you can be the boss and you can have ownership. This is really what it's all about. And ownership is the key way to create wealth, right? If we teach you how to get funding, if we get you hundreds of thousands of dollars and then you spend it all on something that doesn't create wealth, then you're not picking it up, right? You're not learning from this process of what we're trying to teach you. You need leverage, you need systems, and you need to start to think in system ways. If you really want to make a lot of money, if you really want to get rich, you have to create a financial system. Even if it's just investing, you still need a system for getting more money and investing that money properly. Okay. So before you start your business, I want you to win. And I want you to be able to look at this and make a list. I can't tell you how many businesses I've started with giant legal pads, either at restaurants with other people or by myself. And this is what I would do. I would write down these things, and then I would say, okay, this is what this department's going to do. This is how they're going to do it. This is what this department's going to do. And this is who's going to run it. This is how they're going to do it. Right. And then you can start to do this, and you can set this up, and you can win this business before you even start it. Right. And I want you to be able to visually see yourself winning in the business before you start it. Otherwise, you're never going to have the grit to make it all the way through. If you're just half-assing it, it's not going to happen. You want to win before you even start it, and you want to have a vision of what it's going to look like when it's successful. Maybe success for this business is that it makes $500,000 a year, but you sell it and you exit the business. Maybe this is going to be a business that you build forever and you pass down to your grandchildren, right? You have to have those kind of things in mind. Obviously, take action, but you want to do this first. This is taking action too. And this doesn't require any money. You can start this right now with a pen and paper, like I said, and you can actually make progress on your business. Okay. So how can we actually automate this thing? How can we delegate it? This is kind of the funny thing about it. The first thing, you have to do the work. All right. You always have to do it first, unless you hire or have a business partner or somebody who you trust, right? But somebody you trust has to do the work first. You have to blaze the trail. You have to basically make sure that you know what the hell it is that you're talking about and what you're doing. All right. So all businesses start by you being brave and doing the work. Even if you don't want to, you have to do it first. Then you have to document how to do the work, right? You have to literally record, tape, write a small little book on how it is that you're actually doing the work, what steps you're doing, what works. Then you have to be able to train someone else to do the work. All right. Then you have to multiply yourself. Right? You have to make sure that whoever is doing the work for you does it either as good as you, or at least 70% as good as you, or does it better, is really what you want to do. Then you have to manage the people that do the work, right? So first you do the work, then you manage the people that do the work. Then you have to document how you manage the people that do the work. And then you have to hire people to manage the people that do the work. All right. And then you have to maximize the profits and maintain the system. And now you have financial freedom. All right. So this isn't sugar coated. This is literally kind of how you got to do it. But once you get down to here, you're done. You can take a step back and you can scale yourself out of the business. This is very important. Now, again, this goes back to before you even start, or maybe if you're already at it, you have to figure out, it's not about how hard you row, but it's about being in the right boat. Okay. I mean, if you start like a phone booth cleaning company today, there's not a lot of phone booths anymore, right? So you want to be in the right boat. All right. I've started so many businesses where there's so much competition, right? And it was like too much competition, and it just wasn't the right time to be in that boat. And no matter how hard I worked, I was never going to be able to really get financially free. So the things that I think about now before I really want to launch a business or I'm doing it are these things, right? You're never really going to know if you're in the right boat. You might start a business that's a passion project. You might not understand that this is something that can't scale, right? But now you have an idea, and if you're brainstorming and you're trying to figure out what's the right direction I can go in, you really want to go for the business that's going to make you the most money in the shortest period of time, or you want to go with a business that you have an edge, or you want to go into a business that you fully believe is going to be the best thing that you can do with your time, right? That's kind of what it's all about. All right. And this is the main things you want to think about. And this is big. All right. I want you to understand, like, the business you're starting, you really want to have as much control over the process as you possibly can. Okay. Like, just being honest, wholesaling real estate, I love it. I think it can teach just regular people how to make a lot of money, but you don't have enough control over it. You don't have enough control over the property. You don't actually have any of the money. All you have control over is a little piece of paper, and it's very frustrating, and it causes a big problem in your business. You want to have a business where you have control over the results. This is so big from start to finish. If you have a cake business, you want to be able to have control over where you get your supplies. You want to have control over the marketing, so you have a lot of people that want cakes, and then you want to have control over every step of the recipe to get the cake, right? Like even Creat Leverage X, We don't have controls over the banks, right? And that's a big risk. It's kind of scary, but we do have control over basically fixing people's credit, how to boost their score, how we can structure businesses. So we want to have control over as much as you possibly can of whatever business you're trying to start, right? If your whole business depends on some ferry that only comes twice a day, like you don't have a lot of control over when you can work with people, right? So you want to have as much control over as possible. And this is something I try and always think about before I start a business. It's very important. All right. There has to be profitability, right? The juice must be worth the squeeze, right? If you are going to do all this work, at the end of it, there has to be millions of dollars or something that is worth sacrificing for, right? Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. Profitability is huge. Now, profitability can be in a couple different things. You can either sell really high ticket stuff and make a lot of money, or you can sell very low ticket stuff and sell high quantities. I met one of my girlfriend's friends. They literally import screws from China, and they're multi millionaires. I don't even think they make 1 penny per screw, but they import enough screws that they make so much money that it doesn't matter. But there has to be profitability, and the juice has to be worth the squeeze. All right. You have to believe that you can succeed. Okay. Maybe not in the beginning, but when times get tough, you have to believe that you can succeed at this business. There's been so many times with me and where it's like, man, this is tough. Like, what are we doing? We still have faith in ourselves. We have faith in our business. We have faith in our ability to do the work, and we will succeed at no matter what. So you have to have that. Otherwise, you're never going to get through the little tiny road bumps. And when you're starting a business, you're going to have a lot of speed bumps, but to new people who've never started a business, they might seem like Mount Everest, right? They might seem, oh my God, this is so too much. You have to be able to see that you can succeed. You have to have some sort of edge in the marketplace, right? You don't want to be competing with a bunch of other people in the same niche. You don't want to, there's like a red ocean where there's blood in the waters and you don't have any competitive edge. There's nothing unique about your offer. And then there's a blue ocean where nobody does what you do. You're very unique and you can charge whatever you want. You want to be in the blue ocean. You want to have some sort of edge that's going to separate you from the rest of the businesses. All right. There has to be a need in the marketplace for your product. I'm a business consultant. I've worked with so many software companies where the software has no customers. Like, I don't want to say the name of the company, but they basically would sell tracking for people's data, right? They were like a data, you would run ads and they would collect like 368 different types of data on the people that would visit people's websites. And then they had no way of selling it because Hyros and these other companies had already sucked up all of the marketplace. And then they would charge $50,000. And it's like, who's your customer? Like, you made this amazing product. I'm sure everybody loves data, but who the hell's going to buy that? The marketplace is going to tell you if there's value in your product. The marketplace is the end all be all of your product. There's enough people that want it, and then it can be turned into a system. Again, like we talked about this, I had a long period in my life where I was an artist, and the only way that I was ever making money is when I was doing the work, right? I could never replicate myself to the point to make that a system, which is why I had to start other different kinds of businesses. If you ever want to choose just a lifestyle, though, I would recommend a profitable artist is always a cool lifestyle. But I couldn't turn it into a system. I couldn't replicate it. I couldn't make money when I was not working, right? So you have to be able to make it into a system. It cannot entirely depend on you. All right. There has to be a positive uptrend in your industry. We could go into that a little bit later. And you have to be able to start it right now, right? I hate it when I do all these coaching calls and sales calls and they're like, oh, I'll start my business once I have $1 billion. No, it's like, no, it's just start a different business, start a smaller business, start something you can start right now. And otherwise we're all going to be dead by the time you ever get this business going. Right. So you have to be able to start it right now in some form, way, or passion. And you just have to be creative on how you can start it. I mean, it has to be something you want. There's no point in really building a business if you don't want it to actually be in the real world. Right. So that's just very important. And now we're going to kind of go back into the system that I was talking about and the places that you need to understand. Okay. So the first thing is a brand. And the brand, if you think about it, it comes from cowboys and farmland and ranches. And they would literally brand their cows so that you would know that that cow is owned by that ranch. And if you touch that cow, you'll get shot, right? But a brand is deeper. It's how you want the values of your company to be seen in the marketplace. And it starts at the very top all the way down to the bottom. And that's how the brand, because we all do the same sort of work and the same sort of thing in the same sort of way with the same color and same sort of drive, right? So the brand is really like the high level face of the business. That's how you are perceived in the marketplace. And it's the space that you take up in your consumer's mind. I like that one. So whenever you think of Coca-Cola, that little soda company, they have a place in your mind, like they rent free. They just live there. You all know what Coca-Cola is, and they take up that little part of your brain. So whenever you're trying to create a brand, you want people to associate that brand with that thing, and you want to take up the real estate inside people's minds, right? So you always want to try and think of how can you stand out and what can your brand be. The brand is your business's core values. It's your mission statements. It's your graphic design. It's kind of like your logo, how you look. It's where you're located. It's how your business is structured, and it's the name of your company, right? I think we all kind of know what a brand is, but it's just very important that whenever you're building your business, what your brand is, and it's more than just a logo. It's how you're going to do business. It's going to be your core values. It's going to be your mission, and that's the purpose of the brand. Next is marketing. I love marketing. Marketing is one of the skills that I would always recommend you really go hard on and you really understand. Marketing really comes down to understanding your customer, right? Who is your customer? What is your customer avatar? And then copywriting. Copywriting is sales in the written form. I always start all my businesses off with just doing a ton of copywriting. How can I sell this? How can I put this in a way where these words are going to drive someone to buy my product? The channel is going to be, what channel are you going to get your customers' attention on? Is it going to be people on the street? Is it going to be podcasts? Is it going to be social media, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok? What channel or what medium are you going to use to get people's attention, right? And then marketing is all about getting awareness to your product or offer in the correct way, right? Credit Leverage X, we get people money, so we get a lot of broke people, but we need to promote that this is a life-changing way to get credit, right? So we have to promote it in the correct way. Hey, are you a business owner that needs money? Hey, are you an investor that needs money? That makes more sense to our bottom line. And it comes down to every business, though. People need to spend a lot more time getting the correct kind of attention. It's not just about attention. It's about the correct kind of attention, right? You want to influence people. You want to tell them about your brand in a way that gets them interested and influences them to purchase your product. Create a system that consistently brings in the highest quality buyers. This goes back to the other one. You don't want a bunch of broke people in your business. You want the highest possible buyers, the people that are going to do business with you for the long run, the people that are going to buy the biggest amount of your product and are going to love working with you. You want to network. It's basically networking at scale. Marketing is all about disrupting people as well. There's a lot of Super Bowl commercials that were out that were more or less just disrupting. Kanye West, he didn't even spend any money on making his ad. He spent $7 million to be in the Super Bowl. He ended up making 14 million off that one Super Bowl ad, and he disrupted it. He disrupted the ecosystem. You get people's attention, right? And you see how that's all caps, even that gets attention, right? So there's little things you can do to get more attention. It also comes down to your public relationships, the way the public sees you, and how you show up in search engines so that your business can be there. Sales. I probably could have gone a million more bullet points, but really sales is all about two things: closing more deals and collecting as much money as possible for the company, okay? And it doesn't have to be a service. It can be e-commerce, it can be anything, but this is what it's all about. It's basically turning that attention into money for the business and helping people make a decision. That's really what sales is all about. It's about helping people make the correct decision and come to a conclusion that your offer, your sales, your product, your food, whatever it is the best for them. And they want more. All right. So turn the attention into actual cash. Fulfillment. Fulfillment can be a lot of things. It could be the product. It can be the service. It can be the offer. But the main thing for the fulfillment is you have to deliver on what it is that you said in the marketing and the sales to the customer, right? This is all about making happy customers. This is all about fulfilling on what it is that they ordered, fulfilling on what it is. It's how are you going to get it to people? It's the experience you're going to deliver to people. It's the outcome. It's the education, whatever it is. But you actually have to have a system in place to fulfill on what it is that you promised, right? And then you have a back end. Now, this isn't in all businesses, but most businesses, they need to make more money. Even if you're just an e-commerce brand or you're a restaurant, the first time you probably get a customer, you're not really going to make a lot of money off them. But if that customer keeps coming back, if that customer spreads the word, if they buy something bigger, now you're actually going to be able to make money off that person. So you always have to plan what's your back end, what's your upsell, what's the real thing. Most businesses software, coaching, whatever it is, they don't even make money on the upfront initial purchase. They make money on the back end. The first purchase is just to get them someone to talk to and someone who's interested in their product. And the time they actually make money is when they actually start to have a repeat customer or have somebody buy something else on the back end. So it always must be planned. And then this could be maintenance. This could be, hey, I'll do it faster. This could be insurance. This could be recurring. Another thing is if there's literally no back end, you can at least still ask them for referrals. That's also a back end, testimonies, or like some sort of touch up or some sort of payment plan. Human resources, right? So how do you actually find people to do the work for you? You have to find, train, and retain high quality talent to work for your organization. I always want to try and hire people that are smarter than me. It's hard, but that's the goal, right? Hire people that work harder than me. Hire people that are smarter than you. And it's just like they don't exist most of the times in our mind. But then when you actually give people a chance, you'll find that there are good people out there, right? Not everybody's lazy. You just have to remove your limiting beliefs. And if somebody can even do it at 70% of what you can do, that's still going to get you your time back so you can do something else. Okay. But the job of human resources is to always be hiring new people, always be kind of working on the SOPs, working on dealing with the human condition. We all have emotions. We all get a little crazy sometimes, right? So that's what HR does. And you basically want to track the productivity. You want to find the best talent at the best price. You want to create training processes. Even if it's just you running a company, you still have to deal with yourself, right? Whether you have one employee or 100 million employees, you need to figure out how you're going to deal with yourself and how you're going to handle the human resource and the human condition in a workplace, right? And then that's basically what HR does. Then you have the finance department. The finance department job is to maximize the profits. Once you really start a real big business, there's going to be a lot of expenses and a lot of income, and you need someone who can track it to make sure that the company is going in the right direction with clarity and understands what's going on. You also have to pay people, right? You need a finance department that's going to set up payroll and do everything. And then you need to have somebody who's going to be frugal for your company. Because at the end of the day, the business's job is to make as much money as possible and lose as little as possible, right? Expenses and income. And a lot of the times nowadays, life is expensive, especially once you have a big business. There's going to be expenses everywhere. There's going to be insurances. There's going to be people reaching out. Your employees are going to want to get more money. Somebody has to be frugal. Somebody has to say, no, this is what I'm going to keep, right? And then you have to also get the business credit, right? What we teach here is we teach you how to create like a funding system. So if you have a real business, you're going to create this system that is always going to be bringing you in more and more funding. That's what's so cool about this. You actually will have a process to consistently build more business credit, right? And how I like to teach and how I do my businesses nowadays is I put everything on business credit and I just stack all the cash, right? I squirrel it away, I hide it away, and I put all the cash out of my mind and I just run the business on business credit. And then once I have enough cash, I go and I buy real estate with it. I go and I buy my next location for my business with it. That's how you guys should be doing your businesses as well. And that should be your goal. And then banking and financing. All right. And then you have the legal department. I didn't think I needed the legal department for a long time, but you always need to have a lawyer friend. I really recommend our guy, Sebastian. He's part of Credit Leverage X. If you guys ever need legal help, he's literally just a phone call away. He's a great guy. So basically, make sure you're not breaking any laws, right? You want to make sure that everything is dialed in and legal in your company, right? Because you don't want to hurt the company, especially if you're trying to build something for the long run. You need to have someone write up all your contracts. You need to make sure your company is protected from all the weird people trying to sue each other. You need to make sure that you do not let your company get taken advantage of. And you need a contract and you need someone legal help for just stupid people and stupid rules, right? There's lots of weird rules, especially California and all these other crazy states. They're coming up with all these woke things. Like you need to be legally protected. So just make sure you have at least a lawyer's phone number in your pocket that you can call if you need help. All right. And now you just need to learn how to automate, eliminate, and delegate for your business. So automate. Okay. I mean, I was trying to figure out how do you automate stuff without AI and software. I don't think there really is, but technically you can have people do the work and automate it for you. Right. And then that's technically automated for you. But AI, I personally am trying to do more AI stuff, but my bandwidth is so limited. So we're actually going to be hiring someone to do more AI stuff for us in our company. Right. And it's just the future. It just is what it is. We have tons of employees. And at the same time, AI has to happen. And it's kind of interesting. Like we're hiring appointment setters, but appointment setters aren't making as much money as they want. And we're probably just going to be able to pay a robot to do the same job for less. And we won't have to deal with all the headache of dealing with all the people, and we'll just have AI, right? And then there's also softwares that can take up a lot of stuff. And I'm just taking a note from one of my mentors, Ravi Avudala. He always used to say, if I can automate it at all or anything, I have to try. And I always liked that. I thought that was a good way to do it. And then you can also just teach people to do a lot of the work, and that's technically automated for you. Eliminate. All right. As the business owner, you have to cut expenses. You have to cut distractions, and you have to cut inefficiencies. You have to eliminate anything that is taking away from the bottom line, anything that is distracting people from doing their best work, and anything that is inefficient. Everybody likes to nitpick on stuff that's inefficient, and then nobody likes to actually do the work. So you have to actually do the work of eliminating stuff. And it's almost harder to say no to people sometimes than it is always saying yes. But if you always are saying yes to other people, then you're saying no to yourself, right? And then you're saying no to your business. So it's the same thing for your business. You have to cut expenses, you have to cut distractions, you have to cut inefficiencies. All right. And then you have to learn how to delegate. Delegation is the skill of hiring people and motivating them to do the work, right? I am a very charismatic leader from what I'm told, but I think it's a good way to run. You can either run your company as like a dictator, or you're the boss, or you can basically be charismatic, right? And you can care about your people, and you can try and work hard to give your people a great lifestyle and give your people good work and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, though, somebody has to do the work, right? So you have to hire people that want to do a good job, right? I've got a lot of people that work for me that are just super excited to show up to work, and they want to do a good job. They want approval. They want to show up and show out, and they enjoy what they do. And that's kind of what we want. You have to fire inefficient people fast. I wish I was better at this, but it's a lot of work. And firing people, you just have to get good at it. You have to basically see, hey, you're not really performing how we would like. You got to get out of here. And you got to fire them fast before they infect the company, because like one bad apple will spoil the rest, right? You have to train and track people. You have to train, and practice. You have to meet up with people all the time. You have to figure out what's going on in their lives. And then you have to track if they're actually doing a good job. Some people are just coasting by, and you need to follow up with those people. You need to have clear expectations for your employees, and you need to build bulletproof SOPs. All right, SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedures. I know this is exciting stuff, but this is what you got to do. All right, so you or someone you trust has to do the work first, and you have to master it. You have to clearly write and record or dial in how all the steps that you make in order to make the result happen. Your SOPs are living and breathing things, and they often change, and they need to be updated. You're never going to be done mastering your SOP. It's just basically going to continuously get updated, and you're continuously going to have to train people on what you're doing. And you always have to make sure your employees understand what they're doing and how to be most efficient. And what we called it in the military, like the general's intent, right? Or whatever it is. And it's basically up in the corner, like the purpose reason you're doing this is to get this result, right? So you have to do it this way because this is the best way to do it, blah, blah, blah. You have to hire at least 2 people and then test everything you can. All right. So how do you actually find good people? I used to think it was impossible. No one can do the job as good as me. And I stayed stuck in that mindset for too long. And then we really kind of recently figured out how to hire people. And it turns out that millions and millions and millions of people need jobs right now. There is no shortness of people who need a real job with real people and an opportunity. Okay. And we really are trying to build Credit Leverage X to employ a lot of people and give a lot of people a really good opportunity, right? Even if we have AI do all kinds of crap, we're still going to need really smart people, really nice people that are going to do the work. And a lot of people just need opportunities. There's a lot of layoffs going on right now. So the more businesses I can help start, the more businesses and the more jobs I can create, the more food I can help families put on the table. I'm excited about that. So first you have to create the SOPs. I really get sick of business owners that don't understand this. Don't hire anybody until you have an SOP, until you have the standard operating procedure and you have exactly what the employee is going to do. Do not hire anybody. Don't even talk about hiring anybody until you have this in place. Because what happens is you'll hire people, you won't know what to pay them, you won't know what they're supposed to do, and the blind cannot lead the blind, okay? You need the SOPs. You have to have it down, and you have to know what you're doing. You have to make the job requirements, right? The SOPs, and then you have to understand these are the requirements. Like in order for you to accomplish the SOP, you have to work 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's what it is. And you have to work very good, and you have to be diligent, and you have to make it happen. And then you have to write the job, what's it called? A job board, or when you're trying to hire people, whatever it is. You have to write it out, what the job entails, but you have to make it sound good. Okay. You don't want to make it sound really, really boring. You kind of want to add a little flavor, a little bit of spice so that people are interested in it. And then basically here's what we found is like The easiest way to hire people, guys, is just create an Indeed account, create the job post and the job requirements, and then just spend 20 bucks a day promoting it on Indeed. We have so many people that want to work with us. It's ridiculous. All right. The old way that I used to do this is also I would have Facebook groups and I would just copy and paste the same job posting into a ton of Facebook groups. I also recommend putting it on LinkedIn. Do not pay LinkedIn. Never pay LinkedIn. They're just going to take your money and throw it into a hole somewhere. But you can promote for free on LinkedIn. And then you can spend some more money on promoting it. You can even run Facebook ads. We've done that before. But the thing that really cracked it open for us is Indeed. Indeed. And then also we just had one employee who actually had a virtual assistant business in the Philippines. And that those two things combined allow us to hire anybody we want. And so we're very blessed, right? We're able to hire top talent. And this is how you guys can too. But again, people need jobs and this is how you can get them. All right. And then you just need to do a lot of interviews. I know interviews suck. I don't really like interviews. We actually have a virtual assistant doing the first interviews now just to filter out the crazy people. But then they have an interview with me, then they have an interview with Gino, and then they finally get to meet the team. And then we get to hire them on a trial basis before they go full time. You don't want to let everybody in, and you want to be kind of strict, but you also want to give people a chance, right? Like I said, there's millions of people that need a job. And then basically now we're going to kind of go in back to the systems of why we got this all going. I just wanted you guys to know step by step how to build a system, right? And now let's just talk about examples so that we can kind of take us to the next level. This is a wholesaling example. Like I said, I like wholesaling. I've trained wholesaling. I coach wholesaling. You don't have a lot of control. The only thing you can control is your output, right? Which is kind of cool, but it's still a great way for regular people to make $10,000 to $20,000 a month. But this is what it is. So you have to create a brand. I don't care what it is. You got to create a brand for your real estate company, and you have to do it. Marketing is pretty much going to be like buying the lists, paying for ads, or making connections. You can network people on LinkedIn, on Facebook all day, and you can actually do wholesaling deals. Sales, you have to talk to a lot of sellers. The sales is the backbone of wholesaling real estate. And you have to get deals under contract. So the goal is to talk to as many people and get as many deals under contract. Fulfillment, you're going to be either buying the house or flipping the contract to the real estate buyers. The back end and upsells is going to be you can sell your deal flow. You can specifically just work with certain people and get more money. You can do coaching. You can even sell your leads. You can offer management of the companies. There's lots of stuff that you can do. Most of your team is going to be salespeople and then managing those salespeople and getting marketing. And then you'll have finance and legal stuff. All right. So that's wholesaling real estate. E-commerce. You have a brand, you have a products, right? You kind of got to do the products first, which is why I put R&D, which is research and development. So the difference for e-commerce is a lot of your marketing is just researching and developing. What products you're going to sell, what business you're going to make, what are you going to do? And e-commerce is all about research, right? You could have all the money in the world, but you could be buying the wrong products and you're not going to make any profit, right? So you have to make sure you have the right products. Then you have to run a lot of ads to be very profitable, right? So you have your brand, whatever it's going to be. You're doing a lot of research. Then you have your ads promoting the products that you found were the best from your research. And then you have to create content on that. And then a lot of the packaging has to look pretty. You got to take good pictures. You got to have good copy. Blah, blah, blah. The sales, again, is going to be copywriting, landing pages, payments, how you take your payments, how much profit you can charge for your products. So you're actually making good money. That's going to be the sales. The fulfillment is going to be the supply chain, the storing, the shipping, the customer support. The back end is going to be your follow-up emails, trying to get return customers or selling attachments or selling subscriptions. Human resources, you're going to need shippers. You're going to need people that are listing the products. You're going to need web designers and marketers. Finance, checks, balances, contracts, companies, blah, blah, blah. And then this is going to be your system that's going to make you money. And then you can start to take a step back. Food trucks, right? You'll have a brand, you'll have a menu. Your marketing is going to be what location you're in, how you get to events, how you can promote on social media. Your sales is going to be the price of your food, right? Again, sales is how many things can I sell at how big of a profit, at how much can I make you money? Combos, right? Upsells. That's going to be kind of upsells. Speed of how you can get your food. And then catering is something you can also sell. There's probably some other stuff that I don't know about food trucks that you can sell as well. Fulfillment. You're going to need cooks. You're going to need drivers, right? And you're going to need ovens and you're going to be able to need to pump out the food for the people. The back end. Would you like fries and soda with that? That's going to be your upsell. That's how you can make more money, more profit on each transaction. Human and HR, cooks, drivers, paperwork, events, finance, legals, checks, balances, companies, so on and so forth. Service company is the last one. So you got to pick your brand and your service. You're going to have your marketing. You're going to have your events, social media, paid ads, sales, phone numbers, online events, fulfillment, people who do the work for the service, the back end. Hey, I can do it faster for this price. I can do it better for this price. I can do it bigger for this price. Sales, customer success people, finances, illegal. And that's pretty much it, guys. So you can't always control what the outcome of your business is going to be. Okay. That's just the truth. You might have a great business idea, great plan, and something stupid might happen. But I've changed the way I do things, and I just focus on creating. I want to create like 100 businesses before I die, right? And the only thing I can control is the skills I have in creating businesses and mastering the income system that I just showed you guys. You have to master this system. You have to master the art of leverage, right? Automating, delegating, eliminating, if you really want to get rich, if you really want to break out, right? And if you want more information on this, read like the book called The E-Myth. That's kind of where this is all comes from. But this is what all businesses do, is you basically build the system so that you can take a step back. And there's actually a bigger level to this. All right. I tell Gino about this all the time. It's really where you create your own ecosystem. Okay. Where real estate is the best example. And I took this out of the book of Pace Morby, but he has his coaching business, right? He takes the money from his coaching business and he buys real estate with it. Now, in order to buy real estate, he realized he was doing a lot of cold calls. So what did he do? He bought a call center in the Philippines. Now that's its own company. He also realized, oh, I'm buying a lot of real estate. I always have to go to a title company. So he bought a title company and he built his own title company business. And then he realized, oh, I need someone to manage all these real estate deals, all these businesses. So he made his own property management business. So that's where you take your first system was the coaching system, right? I get people in, I coach them how to buy real estate. I buy real estate with the money. That was his first system. But then he created an ecosystem. And the ecosystem is where you create the millionaires and the billionaires of this world with these kind of small ideas expanded by capitalizing and creating a monopoly. And that's how you can actually create true wealth and how you can actually get rich.